Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are debunking NBA myths that we all believed in the Jimmy High Roller video called NBA myths we all thought were true. I'm excited for this, man. Jimmy's a new Mythbuster. I haven't seen the Mythbusters in a long time, so Jimmy, you're that guy for me now. I saw Jordan on the thumbnail. So let's see what Jordan myths we thought were true that aren't, and a few other players. Let's go.
1985, a rookie Michael Jordan entered the NBA Slam Dunk Contest.
What's the myth?
At the time, he was only a few months into his NBA career, but MJ already had millions of fans in the palm of his hand. Michael was the future, and everyone knew it. And to pay homage to his childhood idol Julius Erving, Michael pulled off a dunk that would inevitably become his trademark. A dunk from the free throw line, and on his very first attempt, Michael pulled it off. An incredible, gravity-defying dunk. Fans were amazed, judges were impressed, and Michael Jordan came in second. And he took that personally. So 2 years later...
He lost the year he dunked from the free throw line? Did not know that. I thought Jordan won all the dunk contests he was a part of.
In 1987, Michael Jordan made his return to the dunk contest, and this time, he put it all on the table. With one of the greatest dunk contest performances in NBA history, MJ went home as the NBA dunk contest champion.
I wish, players don't do the dunk contest anymore because they're afraid of losing. Bros! MJ literally lost the dunk contest and then came back and won. There's no shame in losing. There's just shame in not doing it.
In NBA history, MJ went home as the NBA dunk contest champion, but not before pulling off arguably the most iconic dunk in basketball history. Another free throw line dunk. But this wasn't like any that came before it. To this day, when most players do free throw line dunks, they really have to reach and strain themselves to get the ball to the hoop. But what MJ did in '87 was graceful. It was effortless. It looked like the man was literally floating. When fans saw this dunk, they no longer thought MJ was some sort of basketball sorcerer who figured out how to levitate in midair. They were certain of it. MJ's hang time was, and still is, like nothing else we've ever seen. The man's ability to just hang in the air was almost too good to be true. And that's because it wasn't true. Not the jumping part, but the hanging part. Because contrary to popular belief, it is impossible for an athlete to hang in midair, even for a fraction of a second. The concept of an athlete's hang time is a myth. Back in 2007, a show called Sports Science paired up with former NBA player Jordan Farmar to test the theory
Jordan Farmar, I haven't heard that name in years.
Of hang time. At the time, Jordan had a vertical leap of 42 inches. And they put this vertical to the test by attaching trackers to his body and pressure-sensitive insoles into his shoes to measure his jumps. And what they found was that no matter where he jumped from, no matter how high he jumped, and no matter how he maneuvered his body in the air, his ascent was always exactly the same amount of time as his descent, with no pause or stall or hang time in between. When you see a player who seems to be hanging in midair, what you're really seeing is actually a bit of an illusion.
While mid-flight body contortions cannot affect their overall flight, when elite players like Michael Jordan begin their descent, their body stretches, which keeps their head moving horizontally for an extra split second. This creates the optical illusion of prolonged hang time.
Now, I cannot begin to tell you how devastated I was when I watched this episode of Sports Science as a kid. This is unbelievable. Next thing you know, someone's gonna tell me Michael Jordan didn't actually stretch out his arm 25 feet to score a last-second bucket to defeat the Monstars. But you can't ignore the facts. So, as great as this dunk was,
I think what also helps Jordan is the ball movement he does in the air. Like up,
great enough
down,
to defy
up,
the laws of physics.
Up, down, up. I think that helps defy it.
And the concept of hang time was all just a myth. Just like many other narratives and concepts within the NBA that we've been led to believe for years.
What else have I been led to believe? It's a lie. Let's give Jimmy's little thingy. Oh my gosh, it's long. My gosh. Alright, we passed it up.
Throughout the 75-year history of the NBA, there have been some incredible stories. Stuff that is so incredible that it sounds mythical. And that's because it is. When an old tale or an exaggerated recollection of events takes hold within NBA fandom, it virtually becomes a matter of fact.
Oh, please blow my mind. Please, like, absolutely shatter my realization of a lot of these things.
But today, we are going to find the truth behind some of these myths.
Okay.
Now, growing up, years ago, it was just a matter of fact that Larry Bird was the greatest three-point shooter of all time. We all knew it, and we'd all heard the stories from those who watched the man play. I mean, the dude won 3 straight three-point contests, including one where he didn't even take his warm-up off.
Okay.
And to this day, some fans will attest that Larry Bird is still one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time.
But what?
Most agreeing that he's top 3. Steph, Ray Allen, and Larry Bird.
Okay.
But this, my friends, is a myth. For his time, Larry Bird was an excellent three-point shooter. But fast forward 35 years, and there have been dozens and dozens of players who have surpassed Bird in his shooting.
If you told me Bird was 167th in career three-point shooting, I wouldn't believe you. But the fact that Mike Muscala is in there, it makes sense. It makes sense because the three-point ball is just so prioritized now.
Check this out. Here's a chart of the best three-point shooters of all time. The further right a player is, the more efficient they were. And the higher up, the more threes that player made each game. All the way at the top is, of course, Stephen Curry on his own planet. And then you have Klay Thompson, Buddy Hield, Damian Lillard, James Harden. This list includes hundreds of players since the three-point line was added to the NBA. And all the way down here is Larry Bird.
Dang.
Now, of course, Bird played in an era where players
Dude, shout out Buddy Hield for statistically being the third greatest three-point shooter of all time.
shot far less threes, and for his time, he was one of the best long-range shooters. But times have changed.
Yeah.
Drastically. Sure, if Bird played in today's league, he would practice shooting more threes, he'd play in a system that valued the three-pointer more, and he would have simply shot more threes.
But he started the 50-40-90 club. I'm not receiving this with an open hand.
But Larry Bird doesn't play in today's league. And just based off the facts, there are countless players that are simply better three-point shooters than Bird was. Now, this next myth is one that has ran rampant over the last few years. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Every offseason, NBA fans all over social media lose their minds over Instagram and Twitter videos of NBA players who've improved their game, specifically their shooting. Every summer, clips of NBA players not missing a shot or going berserk in a training session go viral, and immediately fans believe these players have revolutionized their entire game.
Yeah.
If I have to watch one
Y'all remember Hoodie Mellow?
more video of Ben Simmons sinking 8 straight three-pointers in an empty gym and then reading comments about how he's got a three-point shot now, I think I'm gonna lose my mind.
Good stuff,
Don't get me
man.
wrong. Back when these off-season videos first began to surface a few years ago, some
Dwight-
of these guys had me fooled. Andre Drummond's got his free throws down. Some player added 15 pounds of muscle in the off-season and their game has completely transformed. Ben Simmons can now shoot the three ball.
Hey, he shot. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
You want to know why Ben Simmons is drilling threes like he's Stephen Curry's long-lost brother in these off-season clips? Because he's in an empty gym with zero pressure and piss-poor defense or literally no defense on him at all. 99% of NBA players knock down damn near every shot they take in practice. They are all automatic in open runs against players you've never heard of. And time again, we are shown that these off-season clips do not translate to the NBA season.
Yeah.
I think Lonzo Ball may be the only player in recent history to actually vastly improve his shot over the course of one off-season. We have got to stop taking these off-season clips so seriously. It's just practice. Every NBA player looks like a god when they're getting open shots up. And no, Ben Simmons cannot shoot the three despite the 30-second shooting clinic he posted on his Instagram.
Come on, Ben. You could have been so much better.
Now, the average height of an NBA player is 6'7" tall, which is really tall.
Dang.
In fact, the average NBA player is taller than 99.99% of all males in the United States.
Dang.
That means, on average, if you gathered 1,000 random men, odds are only one of them will be as tall as the average NBA player. And knowing this, it kind of blows my mind when people say you don't need to be tall to play in the NBA. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a myth.
Yeah.
Take me, for example. I'm 6'1", and being around basketball my entire life, I've never considered myself to be tall by any stretch of the imagination. But generally speaking, I'm still taller than about 93% of men within the United States. Now, out of the 590
I didn't realize Jimmy was so tall.
players currently active in the NBA, take a wild guess at how many of them are my height or shorter. 40.
Dang.
There are 40 players in the entire NBA that are 6 feet 1 inches tall or shorter, which means I quickly go from being taller than about 93% of men in the general population to taller than just 2% of players in the NBA. But it gets worse, because the average height for a male in the US is 5'9", which means that an average sized man
That's how tall I am.
would literally be the shortest player in the NBA.
Dang.
But he wouldn't be the shortest player in NBA history.
Wow.
Of the 3,500 players
See, me as a 13-year-old wanted to be in the NBA. Now I know I never really had a shot. It's sad.
to ever play a game in the modern NBA, only 11 of them were 5'9" or shorter.
My
That's
gosh.
0.3%. Less than half of 1% of all NBA players since 1977 have been average in stature. Look at how minuscule Nate Robinson looks against most NBA players. The man is 5'9". This is what an average guy would look like in the NBA.
Dude, I hate that people remember Nate Robinson for that Jake Paul fight now instead of how dope he was in the league.
As if the astronomical chances of
Whoa.
making it to the league weren't difficult enough. Not being tall makes this immense goal next to impossible.
Man.
So yes, you do need to be tall to play in the NBA. Well, either that or be an absolute anomaly of an athlete.
Yeah.
You know, an athlete like Spud Webb or Nate Robinson or Michael Jordan. Except Michael Jordan wasn't only a freak athlete, he was also 6'6", a combination of attributes and physical gifts that eventually made him the greatest basketball player of all time. And decades after Jordan's retirement from the game, his legend continues to grow. The man went 6-0 in the finals throughout his career, but many say that if he didn't retire the first time in 1993, Michael and the Bulls would have won 8 straight championships. But this is a massive myth. You see,
Oh.
that's impossible, because Jordan did lose in the playoffs to the Orlando Magic. Not in the finals, not in the conference finals, but in the second round of the playoffs. So there's really no need to theorize if the Bulls would have won 8 straight titles, since we literally saw Michael and the Bulls lose right in the middle of their decade-long run.
What were his statistics against the Magic? MJ stats versus Magic 1995. I'm curious how much better he actually could have been. Let's see. 31, 6, 3, 2, and 1. I mean, the man was efficient, dude. 47% true shooting. Yeah, I feel like if Jordan didn't retire, he wouldn't have been that much better. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I can agree with that.
And I know what some of you are thinking. When Michael returned to the NBA in 1995, he wasn't in basketball shape, and he didn't have enough time to get reacclimated to playing basketball by the time the playoffs came around. And although there's some truth to this, I'd be more inclined to agree if MJ didn't average 31, 7, and 5 a game against Orlando in that series.
He ended up looking it up too. Yeah.
In fact, MJ had better numbers in the playoffs right after his return in 1995 than he had in the following season after being back for a
Dang.
season and a half. People act like he was a shell of himself in his return, when in reality he was about 95% himself in those playoffs.
Yeah.
The truth is, after losing Horace Grant in the 94 offseason, the Bulls struggled against teams with prolific big men. And when the Bulls met a prime Shaquille O'Neal and the Magic in the playoffs, this weakness was put on full display in a 6-game series. Even if the Bulls made it past Orlando, they would have had to go through the Knicks, who were just as deep in the front court. And eventually, they would have had to face the Rockets, who were the most complete team in the league that season, with one of the greatest big men of all time.
Yeah.
Even if the Bulls had Michael in 94 and the entirety of the 95 season, they just didn't have the roster to outmatch some of the other teams at the time.
Fair enough.
Not to mention that time and time again, we are shown that winning multiple championships in a row has massive effects on teams. Between injuries, contracts, and player retention, winning championships isn't as simple as just having the talent. The Warriors assembled the damn Justice League for a few seasons, and they still couldn't win 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Kobe and Shaq were the best duo in league history, but after 3-peating, they just couldn't replicate the magic they once had. I'd even go as far as saying Michael Jordan retiring in 93 was the best thing he could have done for his legacy. By the time he came back, he was rejuvenated, he was motivated, and the Bulls had made the necessary offseason moves to make them the overwhelming favorite again. So the next time you hear a crazy story or some stat that sounds too good to be true, it's probably because it isn't true. When a player reaches greatness, he becomes the man, the myth, and the legend. You just gotta know which is which. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, until next time.
Great video by Jimmy, dude. Definitely made me think about a lot. Are there any myths that he didn't include that some of y'all know about? I'd be interested to find out, man. But that was a good video. Very, very cool, very unique topic. I've never seen anyone do a video on that before. Trying to think if there's any myths that I know about. But there's the myth that Paul Pierce hurt himself in the finals, and it turned out he just pooped himself. So that myth was busted, that he got injured and came back. That's the only thing I can think of, man. But let me know what y'all thought about this video. Let me know the myths that maybe you've heard in your time. Hope y'all are enjoying this. Have a great day, night, whatever time of day it is for you. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Doses.